Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining our webinar today, Banking Essentials for International Students in Canada, Empowering Your Financial Journey. I'm Kareem Al-Asal, the Policy Director at CanadaVisa. Moving to Canada as an international student is extremely exciting. And before you begin your studies and pursue other goals here, one of your top priorities is to open a bank account. TD is Canada's leading bank for international students. They offer a lot of products and specials dedicated to international students to help ensure your success here in Canada. We're fortunate to have them join us for today's webinar to give a presentation and to answer your questions. Please note, we are able to answer general questions about banking in Canada. For more specific questions, you're welcome to simply email td.newcomers@td.com so that you can receive tailored information. In terms of the webinar format, TD has been kind enough to have 4 members of its newcomer team participate in the webinar. 3 of them will participate in the second half of the webinar during the Q&A session. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to hear from Tushar Seth. Tushar is an experienced marketer with over 10 years of experience in leading multi-channel marketing strategies. Tushar moved to Canada as a student in 2017 and started working in financial services marketing post-graduation. Tushar, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Kareem. As Kareem mentioned, my name is Tushar Seth. I moved to Canada in 2017 as an international student, so my experience can add a little bit of value. So today's session is all about helping you on your financial journey in Canada as an international student. We'll be going over some key aspects of banking and finances, such as your financial health and why it matters. Financial issues can be often a top source of stress for international students. That's why having your finances under control and understanding key financial concepts can help you achieve your financial goals. Things like managing your day-to-day expenses and taking advantage of banking products and offers can help set yourself up for success. Quickly moving on to our basic banking products. First of them is a checking account. Checking account are used to manage day-to-day transactions. How it works is after you have deposited money in your checking account, you can use your debit card to access money. Another banking product that we offer in Canada is a savings account. A savings account is an account that can be used to deposit additional funds as it allows you to earn interest on deposited money. Another important basic banking product, a credit card. A credit card is a card that can be used to make purchases. When you open a credit card account, your credit card company gives you a set credit limit. And based on that limit, your credit card allows you to borrow funds, make purchases, or pay for them later within the billing cycle or after that with an interest payment. It also allows you to build your credit history. Typically, credit cards have protection measures for you when your credit card gets stolen or lost. At the same time, it is very advantageous to use credit card because it can give you cash back, points, travel miles, and other benefits and much more. Using a credit card responsibly is a great way to build a good credit score and a credit history. Financial institutions will look at your credit score when deciding how much money they can lend you. So to learn more about which card you may be eligible for, go online and view credit card features and eligibility requirement for international students on our website, td.com. Now moving on to budgeting. The goal with budgeting is to allocate in such a way that these expenses don't go beyond your source of fund and you are able to live comfortably within your means. TD has a student budget calculator to help you find out how much your school year will cost you by taking into consideration costs like tuition, housing expenses, and other contributions. At the same time, TD also has an app called TD My Spend, and it will help you keep a track of your spending by automatically sorting your transactions and your expenses into various categories, so you don't have to manually go and sort it into various categories. Now moving on to an exciting part, which is International Student GIC. What is a GIC, right? So a GIC is a Canadian investment that has guaranteed rate of return for a fixed period of time. GICs can be obtained from financial institutions, including TD. International Student GIC or ISGIC helps students meet the eligibility requirement of the SDS program by the Government of Canada. The SDS program is an expedited study permit processing program for people who are applying to study in Canada from a select group of 14 countries. So if you are eligible for SDS program, you might also want to take advantage of ISGIC and expedite your study permit application. Now, moving on to another exciting product that TD has specifically for international students, which is called the International Student Banking Package. It's a banking package which provides you up to $610 in value if you open all the accounts included in the package. It includes a TD student checking account, a TD everyday saving account, a credit card for international student, which is a TD rewards Visa card. With the TD global money transfer included in our banking package for international student, you can send money securely to over 200 countries with $0 fee for up to 12 months. So to sign up for international student banking package, you will need to visit a TD branch to verify that you meet the eligibility criteria. For more details on how to qualify for TD International Student Banking Package, visit our website. It is a limited time offer with conditions apply. I hope that I was able to provide some insights into the Canadian banking system today, how you can start setting up your finances, and some useful tools to help you along the way. We are here to answer any of your questions. So now I'll open it up for a Q&A session. Thank you all.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Tushar. So Abdul Sattar has two questions. The first question is, how can one learn more about the interest rates on credit cards? And then the second question is, how can one learn about the estimated cost of living for a new international student when they move to Canada?
So I'll take the second part of the question. So to be honest with you, when I was moving to Canada, if you are planning to, if you have already got your admission, there are WhatsApp groups that are created by the school. Please interact with your fellow students who are already in Canada. There are multiple forums online that you can go and try and understand the cost of living. You can talk to your friends and family if you have contacts already in Canada. Now, the first part of your question, we have an expert from the credit card team, which is Ashley.
Hi, so depending on the type of credit card you select, they might be charged different interest rates. So if you go to the website, we have about 14 different credit cards to choose from. Just a consideration that not only is the interest rate important, but also the annual fee that the card gets charged. Some cards are free to use and you pay $0 a year. Some cards do have an annual fee attached to them. So have a look to see what matches your needs, so you can kind of have an idea of what you'd like to apply for. And those are all available on the td.com website.
Waleed asks, is it possible for an international student to obtain a line of credit?
Yeah, so it is possible to get a line of credit. The application has to happen with an advisor in the branch to talk about what the conditions are on that line of credit. Typically, we find that our international students, the first product they're interested in is a credit card, given the flexibility of its use. A line of credit tends to be tied to educational expenses only. And so because of that, we find that our students do move towards the credit card product over the line of credit. But if that is a product that you're specifically interested in, then for sure going into branch and speaking with one of our advisors would be a good next step. The last thing I'll say about our credit cards is that we do offer limits of up to $1,500 and there's no credit history required. So it's a great way to get your foot in the door into the Canadian banking sector and into setting up your credit history.
We have another question here from Abdul Sattar. The question is, does one's credit limit vary by the level of program that they pursue in Canada? So for instance, is there a difference between someone's credit limit if they're pursuing a bachelor's degree versus a PhD, for instance?
It does vary by the level of study. If you think about it, someone coming in for undergraduate studies might have different financial needs than someone who's pursuing postgraduate or PhD work. And so because of that, we recognize that our customers have different varying needs and our students might have different financial needs. So come into the branch, talk to an advisor, fill out an application, and the best way to find out is to ask and see if you can qualify for it.
Question here, another question from Wisdom. How can I maintain a good credit score with TD?
Okay, so the best way to maintain a good credit score is to pay your bills on time and pay your credit card on time. Using your credit card correctly can mean that you don't pay any interest on it, you don't pay any late fees. It's kind of a free product to use, and you collect rewards. All that together builds a good credit score. Being wise and judicious with your expenses can be helpful, and so the easiest way to kind of deteriorate your credit score is to go into debt. And so just having regular payment patterns on your credit card can help improve your score. There's really nothing needed beyond that.
Why is credit in Canada so important? I know that Tushar touched on this, but in many parts of the world, the concept of credit doesn't even exist. So why is it so important here in Canada?
I think it probably goes back to people wanting to be safe with their money. You want to lend to someone you know they have a history of making payments on. And so getting your foot in the door in that system can be a little bit difficult. I think TD recognizes that, and so we don't require credit history for our newcomers. In terms of like how it carries on and how important it is later on in life, if you need to make any larger purchases, for example, you think about buying a home or starting a business, you'll probably need to reach out to an institution for a loan or a mortgage. And so when you go to do that, the institution wants to know that you pay back your debts. And so having an established credit history at that point is really helpful to securing the financing that you need.
So Rohan asks, when we come to Canada for the first time, my understanding is that when you are looking to rent, your landlord will ask you for your credit score. How do you deal with such scenarios?
Yeah, so they might ask you for a credit score. And depending on how flexible they are, they might actually ask for a guarantor as well. So they might ask someone to guarantee your loan. That's a possibility. But I think speaking with your landlord and saying that you are new to Canada, you might be willing to take on a guarantor because you don't have credit history. Like that might be a way to help you in that situation. But not every landlord asks for credit history on every rental.
So we have a question here from Wisdom. So the question is it possible to work part-time as an international student in Canada and to save up with TD so I can pay my second year of tuition? You need to be very careful about adhering to the conditions of your study permit. Your study permit will outline the rights you have in Canada about working. Generally speaking, if you choose a program that fulfills the Canadian government's parameters on their website, you do have the ability to work. But again, everything is stipulated on your study permit. So please adhere to it very closely just to make sure that you conform with the Canadian law. The question is it easy to find TD in Canada?
So yes, we've got over 1,000 branches all across Canada and all of the major cities and communities, and even in a lot of rural areas as well. We also have over 2,500 automated bank machines, making it easy and convenient to bank with us. We also have the longest hours of any bank in Canada. So we're open earlier, we're open later. We have advisors that speak over 50 languages. We offer 200 languages over the phone, and our online and app service are available 24/7. So I think you'll find it very easy to bank with TD.
Can I transfer my foreign credit history to Canada?
Yeah, so luckily TD doesn't require you to have credit history when you apply for entry products like a credit card. So we don't need you to transfer your credit history. We'll take anyone, and that's kind of acknowledging that not every country has robust credit systems in place. Like we kind of want to let every newcomer have the same advantage. That being said, if you're applying for something more complicated like a mortgage, you can certainly bring in that information to the branch and speak with an advisor about what you want to bring with you. But in general, for something like an entry-level credit card, you don't need foreign credit history.
How can one check their own credit score? And if they are able to check it with TD, is there a fee that's applicable?
Yeah, so it depends which credit score you want to check. If you want to check your domestic country of origin credit score, I think you have to go through those bureaus. But if you want to check your Canadian credit score, there's generally 2 Canadian bureaus, Equifax and TransUnion, and both of them are required by law to provide you with a free credit check. So if you go onto either of their websites, you can do a free credit pull, put in your information, and they send it to you.
Should we use separate accounts for Canadian transactions and foreign transactions, in his case, Indian transactions? What is the best way to minimize charges for foreign transactions?
I think it would depend on the types of transactions you're doing. In India, we have multiple ways to send money back to India. We have TD Global Money Transfers, and we offer that free to newcomers for the first 12 months. You can also order foreign currency ahead of time, and you can compare the different rates. But definitely you could speak to an advisor in one of our branches. Depending on the specific situation or the specific circumstances, they could offer the best advice.
We'll take one final question, and it's a fun one. What's the advantage for an international student to bank with TD over other Canadian banks?
I'll start with the personal anecdote. So TD, because of its proximity where I was living, I could easily get an appointment with a TD advisor when I went into the branch. The way I was treated as a newcomer in Canada, the kind of offers and product that TD had for newcomers, understanding their need was the biggest advantage and pull for me when I started. And TD was my first bank. I started banking with TD in Canada.
I would say that TD puts the customer first. We have a culture of thinking about our customers' needs. I think Alexandra spoke to our accessibility and how we are in every major city in Canada, in smaller cities in Canada, we're open later. And so we really do care about our customers. And so we want to help you as much as we can.
Okay, perfect. So thank you everyone once again for participating in today's webinar. And thanks to our 4 TD expert speakers for joining us as well and taking time out of your busy schedules. Again, please feel free to follow up with TD with any personal banking questions that you have after the webinar, and they'll be happy to assist you. We've shared their email a number of times in the chat box. In addition, I'll repeat it one more time. It's td.newcomers@td.com. Thank you so much, everyone, once again. Have a great day.